Welcome to Madison City Channel's Know Your Candidates interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I'm your interviewer, Miriam Simmons, and I would like to introduce Tanya Buckingham, running for Dane County Supervisor in District 24. As we begin, I'd like you to give an opening statement as to your educational, vocational, and civic experience, which qualifies you for this office, and why you are running for the Dane County Board.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me here today. I am running for the Dane County Board because it was actually my volunteer experience that led me here. And I've worked with the Bridge Lake Point Winona Community Center for the last few years. And what I've learned there is really the importance of strong communities. And so I've learned at this hyper-local level that you can support this broad network of services and people by having really strong central care within each neighborhood. So my experience is as kind of a unique set of skills and training. I'm trained as a geographer, which I think is really critical for the Dane County Board because I can take into account many perspectives and also many layers. So it's both broad but then also deep. And also I'm also trained as an industrial and organizational psychologist, which means that I understand how groups function and how to have them perform successfully. And then also I'm a proven leader. I've held many different types of leadership in many different types of organizations, both public and private, over the last 15 years.
Thank you. Lack of affordable housing and the pressure it brings to the issue of homelessness is a chronic problem that Dane County can't seem to get ahead of. What do you believe should be the board priorities for these issues?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the main focus of the board is creating partnerships with developers and really creatively thinking about how do we make agreements with them so that we're building not only these expensive new developments, but also when each of those go in, how do we create a partner right-sized homes and do so in an environmentally just way. So we need to be thinking about we can't put these affordable homes in areas that are less desirable. So we really need to be thinking about this holistically.
With the growth and spread of population in Dane County, what do you believe are the most significant transportation environmental issues facing the Dane County Board, and how do you think these issues need to be addressed?
Yes, absolutely. It's really important for us to be developing a regional transit authority so that we can be sharing and providing access quickly between, across all of the county. So that we're removing transportation barriers. And this also helps with the environmental impact that we have by reducing carbon emissions and sharing those resources so that we're not each individually polluting.
What public safety issue or issues do you believe are most pressing that need the attention of the Dane County Board?
Yeah, so this really goes back to my reason for running for Dane County Board. Again, these strong communities. I believe they're our first line of defense, both for mental health issues, drug-related issues. When we have strong support systems within our neighborhoods, that's when we can rely on friends and family, and we have this sort of extension of our own living room right there and people who are looking out for us. And then also training people so that we have something like mental health first aid, right? So that we can be this first line of defense until we can get to professional help for our friends and family right around us. And putting that right in the heart of each neighborhood provides, we mentioned a little bit the transportation barriers, but it provides, those aren't a problem then, but also it addresses some of the stigma of having to go to this place, this anonymous place, this huge place, right? It's this comfortable place where you're comfortable and you can talk with people that you know and who understand you and know where you're coming from.
What do you believe is the specific issue of most concern to the residents of your district, and how do you want to work on solving that?
Yeah, sure. So I've been hearing a lot as I've been out on doors talking with people about the lakes. My district is Monona and East Madison. So we are a lake district, and there's a lot of concern about the blue-green algae bloom that we had last year, and the fact that we're having, before we can even participate in recreation or enjoying those lakes, we have to check the warnings before we do so. That's a huge concern. And so there's a lot of effort already going into that in dealing with the phosphorus, both the sort of historic phosphorus that's there, but we also need to be looking at those partnerships, the urban partnerships, the rural partnerships, and creatively thinking of ways that we can protect the lakes. Also with the salt runoff that's happening right now. What are those creative creative solutions to those problems?
What one or two personal qualities do you have that will make you the best representative on the Dane County Board for your district residents?
Yeah, so I'm coming with a lot of leadership experience. As I mentioned early on, is that I have led many different types of organizations, nonprofits, public sector, private sector, and also engagement, right? So this volunteer work that I've been doing with the Neighborhood Center is bringing the community together, bringing all interested parties together, which includes working with the county supervisor for that district, the city alder for that district, and then also hearing the neighborhood voices. So what I really like is that engagement piece and making sure that everybody has a place to share their vision of the future and their vision of what we could build together. And then coming up with that really strong and solid plan together. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is that I'm a almost 20-year resident of this district on both. So my district is almost split in half, or a little over half is Monona, and then just under half is Madison. And I've lived on both sides of that. I've lived both on the Madison side, and I now live in the Monona side. So it's a district I'm very familiar with.
Which board committees do you believe you should serve on, and why?
Yeah, so going back to that neighborhood focus, I really am looking for opportunities, and I want to think creatively about this, because I think there are many of the committees support neighborhoods in many different ways. So specifically, I'm very interested in the community action, the CAC, the Community Action Coalition, which provides, again, support at that very local level. I'm not eligible for CDBG because of my district overlapping with Madison, but that's you can see the type of work that I'm interested in doing.
How do you envision, as a Dane County Board Supervisor, working with other municipal officials within Dane County?
Yeah, so this is also really exciting to me, and why the Dane County Board drew me beyond the human services was this geographer perspective, right? I want to think beyond the local municipality. I want to think about how those municipalities work together, because a decision that's made in the northwest corner is going to impact us where we are in the center of the county. And same for any decisions we make here. How do those things connect to one another? And again, bringing all those voices together, hearing their particular concerns, understanding what's on their mind, that's some of the most exciting part of working with the Dane County Board.
What would you like to say to the viewing audience for your closing statement?
I guess I would reiterate that I'm a proven leader with creative and fresh ideas, and I would use my training and experience in research and engagement to build a stronger Dane County. My leadership, as I mentioned, comes from 15 years of public and private experiences, and including leading change for organizations that were floundering a little bit, and really creating those into healthy and strong organizations. And that public engagement piece for the community center, and bringing all of those voices together and making sure that everybody has a place and an opportunity to share what their perspective on the issues are. Additionally, this creative and fresh perspective, I train students as my full-time job, university students, to become cartographers. And I always tell them that if I'm training them for next year, then I'm failing. I really need to be training them for the next 15 or 20 years and how to prepare for that and adapt to that as things change and grow. Additionally, I'm an experienced researcher. As a cartographer, I have to rely on, or I have to use a lot of data to make informed decisions and work with experts to make those decisions. And I'm experienced with building teams and having people come together and be really creative and come up with solutions.
Thank you. I want to thank Tanya Buckingham for speaking with us and the viewing audience, for taking the time to know your candidates. As with every election, please vote. On behalf of Madison City Channel and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us.